Hello and welcome back to R.C.E. Kingston. In this week's video, I'm going to be counting down my top 6 favorite parks I've gone to visit. But before we get into the first park, I just want to quickly announce that I made a few TikTok accounts, one of which is directly connected to this channel here. Links to all 3 accounts will be in the description, and with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. Starting off the list, we have SeaWorld San Antonio. This is a brutally underrated park with some of the best coasters in the SeaWorld chain. The strongest part of SeaWorld San Antonio is just how well presented the entire park is. There's not a single area of the park that doesn't look beautiful. The area that immediately comes to mind when I think about how nice the entire place looks is Steel Eel's entrance plaza. The entire thing has trees growing through it that made it look like how coral reefs grow, since that's where eels live in the wild. Another standout section of the park is Texas Stingray's Plaza, which is simplistic in the best way possible. There is a really nice light bridge which leads into the plaza, which has a beautiful entrance sign, as well as some nice trees and bushes which are found around the area. All around, when mixed with the underrated coaster lineup, this is one of the strongest parks in the SeaWorld chain. Next up is my home park of Carowinds, and to say that I have a soft spot for this park would be a major understatement. Carowinds is the park that I have visited most out of any park in the world, and I have loved all but one of my trips to the park. Despite this being an amusement park, the park still looks really nice with how well kept all the landscaping is. The thing that makes Carowinds the best is the entrance plazas, specifically for the top 4 at the park. The Fury 325 Plaza in particular is always so impressive to see, with the massive lift hill looming over the paths, and the best part is the plaza's gorgeous entrance sign. The sign is absolutely massive and just so expertly designed, with the hornet wrapping around the text. The night lighting takes it to a whole next level since the wings light up and give it the look that the hornet is hovering right there in front of you as the green structure looms in the background. All of this stuff also transfers over to the other coasters in the park, and I just adore it. All around, I am so happy this is my home park. The last amusement park on my list is Hershey Park, which is the park I have visited most recently. Hershey Park is a very nice park which has one of the best coaster lineups in the entire world, and I have only good things to say about the park for the majority of my visit. The presentation of the park is absolutely stunning, with some great views of the coasters looming over you, and some really nice shaded areas, which feel less like an amusement park and more like they should be in Dollywood. All of the coasters looked really fresh and had been recently painted, making the skyline look even more stunning than it does normally. And the food and dessert places were quick, efficient, and not too expensive. The only negatives about the park are the queue lines and horrible operations. Some rides were really good at moving people through the line quickly, like Wildcat's Revenge for example, but others felt like the line never moved. I remember during my trip, Candemonium was constantly triple stacking on the final breaks on top of 6 to 7 minute dispatches, which is unheard of for a B&M Hyper. Other than that, Hershey Park is a fantastic park. Busch Gardens Tampa is taking home the bronze medal, and deservingly so. Busch Gardens Tampa is easily my favorite park for my Florida trip, and I believe my mom would agree with me on that too. The coaster lineup is so well rounded and is home to what I believe to be one of the greatest coasters in the world, Iron Gwazi. The park also just looks really pretty and has lots of non-coaster attractions for people to enjoy. There are tons of different shows for people to watch if they need a chance to sit down in the AC for a little while. On top of that, because the park is themed around animals and where they live, the park has tons of different animal exhibits for people to look at. The coolest of all is absolutely the massive safari that is completely free of charge and connected to the park's train. Finally, this park is beautifully themed and is incredibly pretty to walk around. Well, I feel that about covers it all. All around, Busch Gardens Tampa is a beautiful park that I would gladly return to at any time. From one Busch Gardens to the other, we have Busch Gardens Williamsburg, which does everything that Tampa did, but slightly better. Starting off, the coaster lineup is absolutely amazing, with not one bad coaster anywhere in the park. While the top coaster, Pantheon, is not nearly as good as Iron Gwazi, the rest of the coasters make up for it with flying colors. Enough about the coasters though. The main thing I love about the park is the landscaping and overall theming presented throughout the entire park. The overarching theme is European countries, so each area is stylized to look like you are walking through the streets of that country. For example, the main entrance of the park is themed to look like you are in the UK, with specific building style, traditional phone booths, and flags everywhere. The park is also built around the Rhine River, making for some beautiful views while on the coasters and looking at the coasters. especially when looking at Loch Ness Monster, Griffin, and Alpengeist. The park also has a bunch of shows and other entertainment options for people who aren't as much into rides. This is easily the best park in the SeaWorld/Busch Gardens chain. Coming in at number 1 is the beautiful Dollywood. I swear, there was no way I wasn't putting Dollywood at the number 1 spot, because as far as I'm concerned, this is the best park I have ever been to, and it's not even close. The park is absolutely gorgeous, both theming and landscaping wise, due to the expert use of the mountains the park is built on. On top of that, the area of Tennessee that is built on is already one of the most beautiful places I've been to in my entire life. I could go on for hours about how each and every tiny detail is, but I'll keep this short. The way the mountains frame the coasters and make them look massive is amazing, and all the coasters interact with the pass or mountains in some way, whether they go over, through, or around the mountain. The food is also a highlight, but the main food I want to talk about is the cinnamon bread. Trust me when I say that these are not overhyped in the slightest. The flavor is absolutely delicious, and if I was able to, I would have eaten 2 or 3 more servings of them. On top of this, the park has an amazing coaster lineup, as well as tons of shows for everyone to enjoy. Look, I don't know if it's obvious, but this is the best park I've ever been to, and it easily takes the number 1 spot. That's all for this week. Sorry if this video was a little scattered, but this is my first time ever making a video more focused on the parks themselves rather than the coasters. I hope you enjoyed the video anyways, and I will see you next week as we get ready to end off this year with a bang. Bye for now.